Uber and Lyft drivers or taxi drivers, limo drivers, TCP drivers, wherever you may be in the country or abroad. It's Friday. We're getting ready for the weekend. We always excited. There's Rick Reviews. Man, he's fast. He's like lightning. He's in the room. So New York for life. How are you, my friend? Shout out to New York. Shout out to Ed. Good to see all these wonderful faces in the live chat in our house. Now, today, quickly, before I jump into the room, because I truly want you guys to share here. Loki, good to see you, my friend. Chris, Brian, Glenda, Tito, love the virus. Everyone's in the house. I like it. My T-shirt doesn't say die. I just want to clarify. It says diesel for success. I think they've covered the SEL, right? So I'm not saying, hey, go out and die. It's two funny dinosaurs fighting each other there, right? Sort of like us battling the Uber and Lyft companies right now, right? And I'd say that's us here. The big T-Rex on top, the drivers, yeah. Anyway, this is an interesting topic. I got to give my friend Sean a shout out. This has happened to me. I have seen many, many screenshots, and the time has come to truly question what's going on here on these ultra long trips. Anyone ever have a trip like over $150, $200? Okay. How did it work out for you? So what played out here is this guy gets a trip, 2 hours, 47 minutes, 173 miles, right? The rider pays $385. My friend Sean here gets $293 of that. You know, that's I would say definitely more than 50%, right? He gets a $20 tip in the mix. It's over here. And then what's interesting is there's a rider promotion, which I see there for $20. So this tells me this is a new account, right? And for someone to open up a new account and immediately take a long trip, red flag, red flag, red flag. Also for Uber, they should notify us, right? That, hey, if this guy's putting in this ultra long trip, he's using a $20 coupon, first time drive, Uber should not grant this trip, should not put it out there for us, right? This is an ultra high risk trip, right? And Uber should not have set the driver up for this problem. Here's the biggest problem of all. Uber and Lyft don't have any insurances at backups, right, that will cover these type of trips and back up the driver. No, they will always, mark my words, always, I'm going to repeat it again, always back up the rider, the passenger. So the next one he gets is a message from Conversation. This is after they've collected the monies. They say, you know what? This is a high risk trip, or whatever they say. Was flagged for improper use afterwards. After he's driven all these miles, burnt up all this gas, put all these miles on his car, and he thinks he has the money in the bag. They give him, this is a pro, my friend. They use a coupon and they give him a tip to make it look like, hey, to him, it's all legit. He gets all excited. He thinks he's going to get the money. And then Uber cancels it. The passenger, let me clarify, the passenger calls in and says, I was unhappy with the trip. I missed my flight. So we made him take us to the destination because we missed our flight. Firstly, big mistake by the driver, by Sean, should have not done it, right? And I've run into situations where if it's hit a certain mileage, they just stop the trip. And there I am. I still have to take the guy 20, 30, 50 miles. I'm not getting paid for it. And I say to the passenger, look, I don't know if you have enough money on your credit card, but Uber canceled the trip right now. You have to pay cash for the difference, right? I am not going to drive 20, 30 extra miles in my car, my time, is not a freebie. And how do I know if this rider or passenger is not out to con me? This here is an absolute con. And a lot of people make use of it. They'll set up an account, they'll take the promo, first trip, a long trip, and Uber should have immediately caught a red flag. The moment they saw this guy put in a promo and an ultra long distance. This is someone that wants to pick up, doesn't have the money for a Greyhound, doesn't have the money for a train, doesn't have the money for a rent-a-car, doesn't have the money for a plane, and will try and find a fool that drives him or her, right? But Uber and Lyft should have an insurance and have our back on this. This is unacceptable. So how would I handle this? What is the advice I can give to Sean? Sean, right now, you are $293.03. I would insist on the 3 cents as well, short. And they owe you that money. They effed up, right? And this is why going forward, folks, if you see these ultra long trips, and it's happening more and more, I say don't do it. It's not worth it. It looks like, wow, it's going to be a long trip, many hours, I'm going to make a lot of money. But the downside, the high risk side is just too high, right? All those hours there, or you've got a whole day, you've lost out on earnings. You've put on a ton of miles and you've burnt up a lot of gas. You are big time in the negative. You're in the negative on your gas, right? Probably a full tank of gas. And you're on a big negative because you probably spent, let me see, 173 miles. You probably spent a few hours round trip, half a day gone. You're not going to get it back. So my thing right now is I don't fall for these high risk long trips anymore. I say no. That's it. Not going to do it. Sorry, passenger. Here's what happens when we get to the destination. Too many times Uber doesn't pay us out. I can't take the trip. I have to cancel. I'll immediately contact Uber or Lyft and say, hey, trying to give me an ultra high trip here based on my history with you, based on my experiences with you, based on my mistrust. I cannot take this trip because you're probably not going to pay. Now we got to also ask ourselves, what does Uber and Lyft do with this money? Are they genuinely giving it back? I'm questioning this right now. Are they genuinely giving it back to this person's credit card and giving them a freebie, an absolute freebie? Why do they always cozy up to the passenger, to the rider? Why do they always set up the driver for a disaster, for a failure, when they know there's a promo code and the guy's going ultra far distance? They know that's a problem, right? That's a red flag, high risk trip. Uber should protect us, or Uber should have an insurance in place that backs these type of ends. We should always be paid. Now, Sean, the way you handle that is you write Uber Legal a letter, registered post, to San Francisco. You can go on to LinkedIn and you can look up Uber attorneys, Uber Legal. There'll be several names. Find the right type, put a couple of names on there, send it out, registered post, and send them a screenshot of this and say, this is your problem, not my problem. Fix it, or otherwise I'll go to small claims court, period. And I'll go to the media. And I'll go to a guy like Rideshare Professor that'll put a story out there for me. Okay. I happen to know Sean. He's one of the people from our house. I care about the people from our house. So I'm going to back up a story like this. I'm going to give it exposure, right? To give it a little bit more acceleration, right? So, Sean, your procedure, your steps are, you're going to get paid, right? First, registered letter to Uber Legal, giving them a warning to take care of this, or the following will happen. I will be contacting the media, the newspapers, several YouTubers, and mention names, throw names out there so that they get scared, right? And if you don't take care of this immediately, right, you gave me no forewarning, you took the money, you put me into this position, now pay up. If not, I'll see you in small claims. Now, the thing is with small claims, it's not like you're going to get the hearing. It's going to go into an arbitration or mediation, but you have all the evidence right here. whether it's the arbitrator, whether it's the mediator, whether it's possibly a judge, Your Honor, I did this trip for Uber, believing that they were a sincere company, that they would pay. They put me in this position. The rider even gave me a tip, so whatever I did must have been correct. But whatever happened on Uber's side, I didn't receive the money. I now am so much money out of gas. I put on so many miles, and these are my earnings I'm missing. So gas, the wear and tear of the car, maybe another $70, $80 plus $40 gas, $120 plus earnings, right? I demand $410 for you, plus my time that I'm showing up here. If you're showing up in pro persona, right, you don't usually get reimbursed on your costs unless you have an attorney. They will reimburse you on those attorney costs, right? But let's say you shoot for $410. That's how I handle it. And I will hammer them until I get that pay. Not just the $293, but the full $410 was your time, sorry, plus, whatever other expenses you occurred. You may have had parking tickets because you had to park here or wait here, whatever other expenses, you put them all in there and say, this is what I demand from you. So let's jump into the room, Mr. and Mrs. Brown. Thanks for that advice. My advice is simple. Don't be lured into the ultra high trips, right? Who knows what happens with this money, right? Does Uber keep it? We're not seeing anything. The end of the day, listen to this. This guy got $15, right? $15. It's interesting that they paid him the tip out. Isn't that interesting? If they felt like this was an illegal trip, they should have paid out nothing. But they've even admitted guilt. They've just paid him out the tip, the $12 out of the soul. So that's admitting right there, right? If they would have stood by their story, it would be $0 payout. Am I dreaming? I don't think so. So he got $15 out of this. It's a very strange scenario. Anytime your solar plexus, your gut tells you there's something strange, there's something off, there is. Anytime you see a trip like this and something feels off, something's not adding up, right? Cancel. Syracuse in the house, right, Shelisa? Now, I want to jump over briefly to streetteams.com, just briefly before we go back to the ultra high risk long trips. Guys, if you have not registered yet, yesterday we opened up the platform. I'll put the link again, streetteams.com. We probably fixed about 10 bugs yesterday, so my tech team is on it. Now, when you register, you can log in right away. There was a bit of a bug on the system, shooting back an email for verification that wasn't working. And then in the evening, as soon as we had fixed that, all of these guys were live. So I'm getting a lot of friend requests, which is cool. A lot of followers. I've seen a lot of posts already. I've seen people join rooms. I've seen people join discussions. I've seen people join the GOAT platform. I've seen people add themselves to different networks. So, right, Shalisa, I appreciate it. Texas Rideshare guy, just log in with your email and password. That verification issue was fixed yesterday. You should be able to log in with your email and your password right now. If you set yourself up yesterday, go back there. And if there's any issues, please, we're here to iron out the bugs, right? That's what you usually do on a soft launch. You go to support@streetteams.com. You can email them and say, hey, this is my name, this is my email, this is the issue. We're there to fix the issues. Understand one thing. A few weeks ago, in this house, we made the decision to make this happen. So I've been rocking and rolling with them for 3 weeks. There are other companies, that have been making promises for 7-8 months. There's other companies like Juno that have been making promises for 3 or 4 years to come into your market. We did this in a turnaround time of 3 weeks to get this live, right? Why did I want this live? Because this bill is coming up. I'm getting a legal letter drafted to send to Uber now, saying we want to be at the negotiation table for better rates. We're going to push them. And I'm having an attorney look in to start a very cutthroat petition, right? Where it sends them a hardcore message. We're getting signatures, we're coming. We're starting with a petition. And I want to get this petition into the Street Teams platform as well. And I've also heard rumors of another big strike on July the 4th. If we can aid, if we can assist these organizations by pushing flyers, messages through this network, I want to be there. I want to be there for them with my team. So bear with us. RM Zayas, I just followed you about 20 minutes ago on Street Teams. I appreciate you, my friend. I recognize your face. Photographic memory. There it is, my friends. So if you have not taken the time, please bear with us. These are little teething aches here, right? We've got to get through them. We've got to fix the bugs. But go in there, add your pictures, add your codes. If you have YouTube videos, get the video link of your YouTube and drop it in there. It populates, right? I also added yesterday, I just wanted to acknowledge this wonderful lady. And my apologies if I oversaw this, right? But in the All-Star section, I spoke about all the people that I thought were All-Stars. I added Driver Lady Pro yesterday. I want to give her a shout out. She's going through a very, very tough time. You know, she has cancer, but she's still there. She's still there with all her spirit, with all her love, with all her energy. We send her nothing but love. Send her the best frequency so those cancer cells stop attacking each other. Send her tons and tons of better wishes and love, right? And my sincere apology for not putting you into the All-Star team. She emailed me and said, I want to be part of the All-Star team, and here's why. I'm a big advocate for the driver. And I said, you know what? You fully deserve to be on the All-Stars team. And I immediately had my team put her in, right? So we acknowledge you. We acknowledge everything that you've done. We acknowledge what you stand for. She made a video and said, do not sign, right? The same attitude that I have with all of these sort of fake forms that we're getting bombarded with, right? Where they were forcing us or want us to sign, right? And we just step back and say, do not sign. We want to be at the table. We want to have representation, and we want to come out with better rates. We're not shooting for employees. We're not going to put up with the same old independent contractor BS. That doesn't work for us. We need to meet you somewhere in the middle, Uber and Lyft. So all of this movement helps. That's why Street Teams, I had to get it out. It's timing. This bill is coming up for August. We need people to register. We need people to invite people in. You know, there's a free set yourself up. There's different tiers. You don't have to. If you're contributing $10, it's either going to go towards legal costs to get representation, to stand up for ourselves, right? Or for the formation of the company. You don't. You can come in and you can register for free. You can engage, you can participate, you can suggest, you can enter discussions for free, folks. You can upload your YouTubes, whatever you want to do, go for it. All I ask you is do not get into any racial profiling and into any harassment, sexual harassment, anything of that nature will delete your profile forever. Keep it clean, keep it real, and participate in that GOAT forum, please. Rick Reviews, Senebobo, Uber is stealing tips. I have been looking at this topic carefully. I want more people to send me screenshots on this if they are stealing the tips. If they are truly stealing the tips, they're done. They're done, right? If that blows up on them in the media, if there is hardcore proof that Uber and Lyft, and I'm not saying they are, I need more proof. I need to see screenshots. I see Kevin, the Apptrepreneur, do a video on it. Another thing that I'm pretty proud of, 2.5 years ago, one of my biggest videos that went viral, which is the 2-phone Uber trick revealed. And the reason why I spoke about 2 phones at that time was, you know, toggling between apps is dangerous while you're driving. So having 2 phones up there on the screen, being able to see Uber and Lyft, running 4 apps simultaneously, 2 driver apps and 2 rider apps simultaneously, it truly worked out to be safer to have them in front of you versus trying to get down there and switch between 4 apps while you're driving. It was more about the safety that I made that video. That video went viral. It got almost 1.3 million views. I see that Dylan from Rideshare Hub has literally copied the wording word for word. I see that Dave, the Uber slave, has put an interesting spin on it. I think that's great. I see that Geo, Rideshare Revolution, says it's BS. And he comes in with his reasons, and he's more than welcome to exercise his opinion and make a video on that. So, what I'm glad is that video gave movement to many other rideshare drivers making videos on it, right? And at that time, 2.5 years ago, it was sign of the times. 2.5 years later, things may have changed on the interface. Things may not be exactly as I said it was 2.5 years ago. So I welcome the new spin on the 2-phone Uber trick reveal. The number one reason I did it was for safety. People that drive on 2 platforms, right, and in areas where the Wi-Fi or the signal is spotty, it's always good to have AT&T and Verizon because they cover different. So having 2 phones out there, I fully understand that's another $50 to $100 extra expense, but my safety comes first, and I never want to lose the signal. So if I'm up in Hollywood Hills, very often I would lose AT&T. Verizon had my back. In other areas, I would lose the Verizon signal. And guess what? AT&T had my back, right? So for me to pay that extra $50 to $100 was worth it all day long. In case my battery went down on the one phone, I had the other phone as a backup. So the reason I always push 2 phones is to run 4 apps simultaneously, safety, 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 and then making sure that if you are in certain areas where coverage, whether you're with T-Mobile, whether you're with Boost, whether you're with Verizon, whether you're with AT&T, you always want to be on the grid, right? So that's why even in my car, I have 2 different Wi-Fis. I have my Escalade Cadillac Wi-Fi, and I have my T-Mobile broadband Wi-Fi, high-powered, so that my clients always have access at all times. So, it's an additional expense I'm paying for, but that's what it is. We're going back to the reason I made this video is that I would truly say no to high-risk trips. I would, right? I would, if you see this 120-mile or 200-mile, or in this case, 173 miles, I would say to the passenger, I'm sorry, I cannot take that trip. Here's the reason why, because Uber is just not paying us out, right? So, and I'm not here to give freebies. Oh, no, it's fine. My account is fine. You can do the long trip. Well, why take the risk, right? So the mileage may sound attractive, but is it truly that attractive when you don't get paid? It's happening a lot. So again, it's hard to say this, but I say no to ultra high. I like medium range trips, 30, 45, 1-hour trips. But when it comes into the 2-3 hour, this is a 3-hour trip one way, right? Duration 3 hours, 3 hours back, 6 hours, folks. You've driven around for 6 hours, probably burnt up 1.5 tanks of gasoline. You've put on 2 times 170, you've put on 350 miles wear and tear on your car, right? And you're not getting paid. Uber and Lyft, what is that about? Shine Telemundo, long trips are hard on you because you pay for gas both ways. Very true. Very, very true. Rideshare Source Driver, now it's even 2 devices. They could be tablets. They absolutely could be tablets. Could be 1 phone, 1 tablet. Why not, right? I'm just merely, the reason why I briefly went there is more for security purposes. The bottom line is people say, well, you can do this all on 1 phone. Of course you can. But if you're toggling between two companies, Uber driver app, Lyft driver app, Uber rider app, Lyft rider app, that's 4. And you're going to sit there and jump between 4 different screens to try and get some intel while you're driving or setting yourself up for the next trip? I don't think so. I'd rather go on the security, the connectivity, the safety. James Skidmore, Mobile hotspot is awesome. It is. I love it. And having live streaming in my car now, love it, right? My clients love it. If they can watch the sports, if they can watch the Dodgers game, if they can watch the basketball games, if they can watch the US women's soccer. Like the other day, I had a whole crowd and they were watching the game. When was it? Yesterday, Sweden against USA, and my people are in the car watching the game. They love that. They love that type of stuff. Connectivity, we're so spoiled with connectivity. Everything's for free. YouTube's for free. Instagram's for free. Twitter's for free, right? You got to capitalize and use it, right? It's only your time that is a cost factor. Your time on spending all of this, your time on tweeting. But all these platforms is zero marketing dollars, my friends. Utilize it, right? Utilize it. Promote yourself. Rene, I only drive for Uber right now. Lyft is oversaturated here, right? But here's the thing, Rene, let's say you're on an XL, right? And you're driving with Uber X and XL, and you register now for Lyft XL. They have a setting where you can drive XL only. So you have your Lyft app on, right? It's just set on XL, right? It's oversaturated, but you're sitting there waiting, thinking you're going to get an Uber trip, and suddenly out of the blue, you get an XL, a higher paying Lyft trip. It truly pays having those two apps on the same time. It truly pays to have the freedom to pick and choose with whom you want to drive or who's going to give you a better, or longer trip, right? That's why I say, hey, having both those apps on the two phones or on the one phone, that's fine. Just wait for the signal to go off, right? And take it. Statistically, I can tell you in a 5 to 8 hour shift, whether you drive on one or whether you drive on two platforms, I've even seen people drive on 3 platforms, maybe add hop, skip, and drive to it, is that you are statistically getting more trips per shift, which equates to more money, right? So relying on one app, relying on one platform, I say is an absolute no. In case things go wrong, in case you get deactivated, you're going to suddenly say, oh my gosh, now I've got to register for Lyft. I've got to upload the whole stuff. And, it takes time. And you have to go for an inspection again. Get both done, be proactive, and be ready, because people get deactivated out of the blue for the stupidest Uber reasons or the dumbest Lyft reasons. The company deactivates you, right? Don't think that your job is secure every single day. Have backups, folks. Shia G, I'm so thankful that you have started the site. I'm thankful to you for being here, Shia, for being in the room and for going into the site and participating. I really ask you kindly, go to streetteams.com, right? Go and set up your free profile. And even if you don't engage, even if you don't do anything, at least if there is an announcement, we can circulate and get you a message. You will see it in your inbox. It will be emailed to you because your email and password are on a secure server in a cloud server on the Street Teams website. If there's any alert or if there's any input, we can get a message out. If there's a flyer in your city that needs to be printed out because you maybe want to participate in a strike and you want to put a flyer in a bathroom or wherever you want to put it, right? In a dorm, wherever you want to put it, we can circulate that very, very quickly. Chris Tringale, I hate that Lyft automatically adds rides while you are on a trip. It can get very, very frustrating, a little bit overwhelming when you still quite a distance out to deliver that passenger and they're already coming in with the next trip, right? And they just add it automatically the next one, right? Sort of like forcing you, hey, after that, you got to go here. It plays around with our mind a bit. Now it says, oh, I got to get this guy here faster, quicker to that destination so I can get to the next guy. And it puts you in a very, very, I'd say, anxiety mode. Right? I don't think it's very well thought out that they hit you with that second trip too far in advance, right? Why not, hey, I'm right at the destination. There's another one. Do you want to take it? Yes or no? Okay, if so, yes, I will go there. No, I'll decline. I need a little bit of a rest. I need to go and get gas. But to inject a second trip, like he said, way in advance, I think it just puts too much pressure on you. It really does. Tito Lugo, can you upgrade the membership? Yes, there is an update in the discussion forum how you can upgrade from regular free member to, let's say, a super member for $10. The minimum participation level is $10. Anybody that can afford $10, you're doing a great cause. And the reason why is because we've already accumulated a lot of dollars that we will use towards legal counsel, that we are going to use to get a petition going, and we are going to try and force Uber and Lyft to the table, right? I treat this as business, folks. I run other businesses, right? You know, some of my other businesses make a few $1 million per year, right? I'm not in a situation where I have to be at, you know, every meeting. I have Friday late afternoon meetings. I have a meeting on Monday afternoon because some of my other companies I have shareholders in. I'm a business partner in them. Some of them I own 100% myself. Some are set up as S corporations. Some are set up as LLCs. I approach this as business. And right now, I see two gigantic companies that have made a lot of money, right? Not as much as they wish they could have at the IPO, but they're rich in funds right now, right? Several $1 billion in the coffers, right? And they are aggressively pursuing, you know, whether it's drones, whether it's submarines. They have money to spend, right? And they will dictate, bully. And if you do not stand up to them, if you do not look at this as, you know, a cutthroat business deal that they're trying to force on us, you're not going to get anywhere if you don't have heavy hitters and legal firms in your backing you, behind you. They will not take you serious if you're just one little guy there like me shouting from the treetops. But if I'm one guy who shows up with 1,000 soldiers, who shows up with 5 attorneys, now suddenly they have, I think we need to talk to these guys, right? That is how we approach it. We treat it as business. Ryder L, will the top contribution of 250 end up being more shares if you guys, that is correct, yes. On the highest level, that money is also going towards shares. Now, with the current dollars that have come in, the setting up the legal structure, exactly how this company must look, getting expert attorneys to decide how many shares have to be attributed to new drivers, all of that I leave in the hand of experts, right? But on the highest level, and we're going to open up that platform on July the 4th, right? If you're doing it right now, we'll still honor it. But on the highest level, you're on the council, you're a city ambassador, and you're going to get participation in shares on the new company, right? Again, if you cannot afford it, don't do it. If $10 is all you can do $10. If you cannot do $10, nobody is asking you, right? You can come on board as a free member. That's all, right? If you can, you do. If you cannot, you don't, period. Nobody, not I, not anyone on street teams, not anyone out there should ever force you to do things, right? Just showing you ways that we would like better. We would like to see, I would like to see you continue with Uber and Lyft. I'd like to see you do better in the future, right? And if we can add this third company to the mix, and maybe, Kyle, you're always coming through for me. Love you, my friend. What are the shares for, website or new company? No, the shares are for the new company if you're coming in on the highest level, right? The new company. And by the way, the name of the new company gets determined by the drivers. This is not like Rome that was built. We're not building Rome here overnight, my friends, because it wasn't built overnight, right? We're not building the Colosseum in Rome overnight. This is a process, and we are going through the motions and the steps, right? As you can see, we pushed this out probably 3 weeks. Yesterday, we fixed 10 bugs, 10 small little technical bugs, right? So on the highest level, you're part of that new company. You get basically, it's like an early first round seed investor on the most minimal level. I'm also going to be pitching this to very, very big clients that I know, friends that I know, right? People that can put in more than $50,000 or $100,000, right? I also pitch them. And that $50,000 is nothing to them, right? I have probably 3 clients that have over $1 billion, One has about 1.2. The other one's worth about 1. The other one's worth about 2.5. I have another international client who's worth about $3 billion that I know personally, that I can pick up the phone, right? I have a few clients that are worth somewhere between 100 and $700 million in the Hidden Hills area. So you know what? They know me. They trust me with their kids. They always ask me, hey, Torsten, what's new? How can we participate? What can we do together? Now I've got to say, hey, listen, we have something going here. We have something real to show, right? Welfare office. That comment doesn't fly, buddy. I have to kick you out. Sorry. Welfare office thought that he could try his shenanigans here. Are we able to add more capital at different times? Absolutely. And if you are part of the council and you're involved in the very first rounds, you get the very first dips, right? Absolutely. And you have more participation rights. And your opinion is more weighted. But the bottom line is, let's just see there. Jeremy Gill, shout out to him on the road in Las Vegas, looking forward to getting involved with street teams. Kyle, give me 1 second. I'm going to jump over to Jeremy. Whatever you can do in Vegas, just come on board on the very basic level. Get some info out on Vegas. If you have some good videos out there on Vegas, put it in. If you know some other drivers, if there's a strike coming up in Vegas, we'll inform you. We want to be able to connect very quickly with the Vegas crowd or with the Atlanta crowd, wherever you are, right? So I want Gig Workers United. I want Rideshare. I want these organizations. They're not unions, but organizations. If they need our help, if they need our support, we are there for them. We can circulate it quickly, right? So go in, set up, and then the email confirmation may not come right away, but you can log in with your email and password, right? So I hope I've answered your question, Kyle. If you're in there, Kyle, set up a basic membership first so I can just see you, see your face, follow you. We can create a mutual friendship. You follow me, I follow you. So sort of I'm part of your journey, you're part of my journey. If I have announcements to make, you can read them. If you have announcements to make, I can read them. And the one thing that I asked my tech team to do on street teams was, please research all the taxi, all the limo, all the rideshare companies worldwide, period. Go through all the sites, find all the names, all the logos, and put them in there, right? Because I want to treat everyone equally, right? We're not here. We're not better than taxi drivers. Taxi drivers are not better than us. Limo drivers are not more superior than rideshare drivers. It should be a family of brothers and sisters trying to help each other, because that limo driver probably is working for Uber and Lyft and doing private trips like I am, right? So where can we support him when he needs help? Or vice versa. Where can he support us, the limo driver, if we need help? Maybe he can circulate a flyer for us. Maybe he can get the word out on the New York cities, right? Put a little flyer that he could print out on a PDF form. Kyle, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Timothy Neufaf. Yay, finally able to register on your site. Thank you, Timothy, for hanging in there 24 hours. I understand nothing was perfect on day one. We had a lot of people on the website. Even the hosting company said, Jesus, how many people are you sending to the website? We said, make up the bandwidth, make it available for them, right? So the internet is an interesting place. Unless you're coming out there with hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, like the early rounds of Uber where they had insane money to burn, you know, you can get out there instantly. That was just them, the founders, and a few investors. Our approach, folks, is a little different. Here we have thousands and thousands and hundreds and thousands of foot soldiers all around the country. I had an amazing conversation with a gentleman, Vincent, in New Zealand yesterday, and said, in whatever capacity, in whatever form, I or my street team in New Zealand want to support you, and he came on board. That is the love and the appreciation we need for street teams. Thank you. DeNova RS, Pennsylvania. Yeah! Thank you. Denova, Paul Figueroa. There's my friend. So Paul says, just joining Torsten Thomas had $40 deducted from a SD to LAX trip. Seriously? Send me a screenshot, Thomas. Please. Good to see you, buddy. Dan Ramirez, ready to roll. Dude, you say the word, I'm on board. Just go and register, Dan. Go onto Street Teams and register there if you can. I want to see your face. Just cut and paste that, ready to roll. I know exactly who it is. Just cut and paste that word when you send me a message through Street Teams, ready to roll. Abstract Echo, a newcomer to the rideshare world, but amazing input. Always gives amazing input. Truly, truly appreciate you having you on board. And if you can go onto the website, just create a profile, Abstract Echo. I know exactly who you are. I had an Uber pool the other day. We temporarily got backed up in the tunnel on the 101. Oh, geez, on that spot, I know it. Just south of, yep, exactly. Las Virgenes, exactly. Would that be called carpool tunnels? How's that, guys? Carpool tunnel syndrome. I think that qualifies. You're in a pool, you're in the tunnel, now suddenly you come out the other side and you suffer from carpool tunnel syndrome. Humor like that makes my day. Keep it coming, keep it coming. We appreciate you. DC in the house. That's my city of birth, Georgetown. Dad is also a professor at Georgetown University. DC, love to see those two letters. Big D, big C in the house. It is Sonu Lumbar. Janice Stewart, can we register now? Yes, you can. Please go on to streetteams.com, register. Even if you put in goatrideshare.com, it'll take you to Street Teams. I have tied down a lot of names. I really, really want to get the people into the GOAT forum so that they can help decide on the name. It's not my name. I put a suggestion going forward. GOAT, greatest of all time drivers. I've had Sunshine Rides. I've had Rides RYDZ. I've had a lot of good input. We have to, by the way, I have to check those names against the registrar with a trademark. Is there a chance we could call it that? And if so, we register the name, right? And then we also have to file for the trademarks, right? Here's Brian. Brian's in the house. How are you, buddy? You're live? Oh, boy. You caught us in a live stream. This is Brian, the gentleman that helped figure out a couple of bugs yesterday, fix them, and he's continuously working on it. What's up, B? Do you want me to call you back, or do you want to talk? I put you on silent. What's it? I did. Nice. So we just hired someone that'll help with welcoming new people on Street Teams. And that'll be in effect, I've been just told by Brian. So as you come on, they will greet you and help you. Can I call you back after this live stream? Cool. I want to take a couple of calls. Okay, thanks, B. Thank you. So what I did the other day, and I've seen that other rideshare, yeah, Houston, Texas. Mazarov Ibrahim, thank you for registering. So a few weeks ago, I put my phone number out there and I said, hey, call me. Like the Rides Are Us journey, call me, let's talk live on air. And I see that a lot of other YouTube influencers like Dustin are doing that now. That's awesome, right? To engage people real time in a live stream, right? Putting them on. And when he started that, I was the first guy to call in to Dustin on this California bill. I don't know if you saw that. I gave my input briefly. And I said, hey, I want to get off the phone so I can free up the line for the next person. So I didn't take up much time because I have a channel anyway, so I don't have to really block his phone lines. But I think that's a great way to get people to participate. Like, let's say, is there anyone out here that's had a similar experience that would maybe want to phone in and share their input or share anything. So by all means, I will gladly take a call. First person to call me. I'm only going to do one call because I got to get on the road. But call me and we'll put you. Tell us where you're from. I'm waiting for it to ring. Did I put the right number in? Yes, I did. Whoop, 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 whoop. What was my take on the scam going on in DC? Man, you know what? Loose lips sink ships. Loose lips sink ships. So these guys revealed to the media. I mean, how silly can you be? If you've got something going that's working for you because Uber and Lyft are shafting you, but no, they thought now they had bragging rights. They're going to talk about their, as Dustin called it, the Surge Club, and the whole thing went viral, went into the media. Obviously, Uber is alerted, Lyft is alerted, and they're going to plug all those holes. So that little Fight Club, Surge Club is over, or it will be over soon. Who knows, Surge might be over because of this, right? Because it just opens up the possibility for too many lawsuits. If passengers feel like they are being manipulated, if they're being cheated on the Surge platform because of what's going on, they will take action collectively, class action against Uber. It's going to happen. It's going to come. Mark my words. It's in the makings, right? The attorney is already talking about this, right? So the bottom line is, where I think they effed up is that they made all of that info their way, the way they do it, the way they drive the surge up. They made it public, and the dumbest thing they could have ever done is talk live to a representative. This is exactly how we do it. We go to the corner, we check the plane coming in, and then we say, wait, wait, wait. We watch the price go up, and then we say, okay, switch on. Told them exactly how they do it. We have Hawaii in the house. Who is this?
So Stephen.
Stephen, how are you, buddy? You're live. Are you in the live stream right now? Are you in the live stream right now?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Got another call from Illinois, but I took Hawaii first. How can I help you? What do you have to contribute this morning?
I'm just wanted to talk about the market being for
Go ahead. The what?
my rates are being cut.
The rates being cut? Are they being cut in your market? Okay. What platform are you on?
I'm on both Lyft and Uber.
Okay, and what categories? What car?
What kind of car do I drive?
Yeah.
I'm trying like MDX.
Okay, and what categories did they put you? You drive in Hawaii, right? On the Big Island, or where are you in? Oahu. Okay. And what are you? Are you on the XL platform by any chance?
XL and Select.
Okay, so you are on XL. So did you saw a rate decrease on XL?
Yes, it'll go into effect
tomorrow, right? Oh no, on the what? The 24th of June?
Yes.
Okay, cool. You know what you can do for us, and I will gladly do a video about your market, about you. If you could send us a couple of screenshots of let's say XL trips that you're currently taking. Could be 5-mile trips, could be 10-mile trips, could be 20-mile trips. And obviously those trips will equate to X amount of dollars under the current rates. Now, come Monday, you just mentioned it, that's going to change, right? So then you start in that next week, in the second week, you start taking multiple screenshots so that you can compare apples and oranges. So I had a 5-mile trip prior the changes, and now I have a 5-mile trip after the changes. Here is the difference that I'm losing out. Does that make sense? So what are they paying you per mile? What are they paying you per mile right now? XL.
Right now, the current is 280, I believe.
280?
280 per mile.
Okay, so today you take a 10-mile trip. That they were supposed to pay you out $28 plus maybe your time, 28. Next week, you're taking a 10-mile trip and they're paying you out $23.40, right? So what is the difference? $4.60 would be the negative. That's just on one particular trip. So I like to see real numbers, real screenshots, so I can talk about real things. And you would do me the biggest favor in your market based on this conversation. If you could take a couple, I'm sure you're going to be working all weekend. If you could get me a couple of screenshots and say, hey, Torsten Rideshare Professor, I'm the gentleman on the live stream from Hawaii. Obviously, I'll remember you. Here are my screenshots from this week, and I will get you a couple of comparatives like to next week. Like, okay, this, just send me 5 or 6 different.
There's only two markets. There's only two markets that they're hitting, which is Maui and Oahu, which I think is the 4 big markets. But they're starting this with a few smaller markets. But I'm trying to figure out why would they cut the rate. I'm
going to tell you that's on in your state, on your islands, but this same thing is happening in many other states. And what here's what surprises me, folks, and I'm listening to you. You can chime in any second. Here's what surprises me. When they sent us, and this is obviously you're not affected by this, but the California market, they send out these help emails and said, hey, we hear you, we'll up your rates, we'll better your conditions, we'll give you a voice, but please sign this bill. This is 48 hours to 72 hours ago, and this is where you have to pay very close attention. Now we get a phone call in 72 hours later, exactly the opposite. So Uber is doing exactly the opposite. They're not willing to increase it. They've gone the opposite direction. They've sent out reminders to multiple markets, including my friend here from Hawaii who's on the phone, that, hey, we are now going to cut XL rates and other rates beginning June the 24th, probably Monday next week. Can the company, and I'm going to ask you directly, when you hear all of this information, what is your feeling on the word trust with these companies? And I'm talking to the caller. Could you shed some light on that?
I'm not as gullible as most people.
Okay.
I know the bottom line is money.
Okay.
When it comes to the bottom line, they'll say or distract people from, or use sleight of hand to distract you from saying this take-up fee.
Okay.
Or anytime you adjust anything, in my opinion, is to take more money into the drivers, which has been a huge trend that's been happening over and over. That hasn't changed. But just they think the drivers are that gullible to think that we don't know what's going on.
You use the word gullible, yeah, and they truly think we are that gullible and we're too stupid to understand what's going on. That's what my Hawaii caller said, and I agree with that 100%. And the bottom line is we're not gullible and we're not stupid, right? Because we're here talking about this because we see and acknowledge there is a big problem. So the answer to that is, you have to fight back, right? I will do everything in my power to highlight your screenshots from this week and next week and make it another beautiful story with more pressure, and hopefully more people run with it. Hopefully Dustin, Kevin, all of these guys do phone-ins, talk to people like you so we can put real stories out there. This is real stuff, folks. These are real issues affecting real people. Rate cuts, once again, when just hours ago they said it would be a rate increase. So I appreciate your call. I got to free up for the next call. Please.
Real quick, my assumption was that they're going after the smaller markets because the bigger markets are being damaged, like New York and California right now. So I'm thinking they're trying to take more money from the smaller markets than from the bigger markets to make up the loss that they have in New York.
Well, the way I see it, I mean, what you're saying there, that's speculation, right? That's your opinion, right? You don't know what they're up to. We all have opinions. My opinion would be, let's test it in a small market and let's see if we can get away with it. Because if we do it in a small market, they can't make that much noise. They're not going to just try and roll something like this out in LA or New York, right? I mean, it would spread like wildfire. So why don't we go over there to Hawaii, to a small market, and see if we can get away with these shenanigans? Does that make sense? But I hear you loud and clear. I hear your theory. I hear your argument loud and clear, my friend. I appreciate the call. Will you please be...
I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, my friend. And will you please be so kind, and then you my email, my text, you have it. You can send me those screenshots. You can tell me who you are, what city, what state, and then I really need that info from next week so we can actually compare real rates to new rates. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. It's simple, man. This is black and white. These are real stories coming in from all corners around the world, right? And that's why I'm up to about 300 or 400 emails and text messages every single day where the people share their stories. This is not stuff they've made up, right? This is stuff what we have to receive from the drivers, and then we hold up the mirror. Here's the mirror, Uber. Have a look. This is a real trip from Hawaii. This is a real change. And you're trying to tell me we can survive on that? So you've got to push, 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 relentless. The moment you give up, the moment you back off, you've lost, right? So that is why I say when you start exercising your power and not signing these petitions, and you go to them with attorneys and say, come to the table, right? You're forcing the issue. You're forcing the issue with strikes. It would be a fantastic day to strike on July the 4th. It would be a fantastic day to strike on the 4th of July, right? And, I am getting a lot of messages, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm making great money. It doesn't apply to me. Sure, I understand that in certain cities, in certain categories, there's zero complaints. But maybe in 2 to 3 weeks' time, maybe in 2 months' time, I get a phone call from you and say, hey, things have changed in my market, right? There's a lot of people out there that are unhappy, and there's a lot of people that are saying it's still fine, it's okay. So we're trying to find a fine balance. The way I work the system, the way I drive in Lux and SUV, right? Here's another call from Illinois that I might take. Hi there, Torsten speaking. How are you? Who's on the line? How are you?
This is Ed from Chicago. I've been watching your channel.
Yes, how are you, buddy? Now. Awesome. How are you? Welcome to have you on board, my friend. How are you doing?
It's good to be on. I've been driving for over 3 years now.
Okay.
And I've had to share the city with the dope. I'm sure you've known Mr. Geo, Mr. Dope, I call him.
You do? Okay.
I know he likes to attack you with he calls you the referral professor.
It's okay.
I'm sure you've heard of it.
It's I've been called every name under the sun, but I'm fine with those titles. I'm not going to judge the guy. If I were to go in attack mode, you'd probably see the video, but I haven't. It's fine. He makes me stronger and stronger. He gives me more and more exposure. And I truly have nothing against him. There's obviously something that disturbs him. Obviously, my accent has disturbed him. What has also disturbed him is that I actually make money in referrals in foreign markets because I work with Canadians and with other people in Europe. But you know what? I think, honestly, let's take a step back here. I think what he does do very well, he has over 16,000 trips. That's legit. He's one of the hardest XL workers I've seen. That's legit. And he's bringing real stories to the market, especially in Chicago. If he could focus on those positives, I think his channel would skyrocket. If he goes a little dark or a little Darth Vader-like, that's when people like you and I will question things. But so shall it be. Let's ignore that for a second. What do you want to contribute from Chicago? What's going on there?
I actually called in. I heard the last caller talk about the amount of money, or when someone would say, "Well, I'm making money." Like, why is everyone complaining? You're making money, but the thing is, there's such a huge turnover of drivers, right? We understand. Right. They're probably going about 6 months, and then they're quitting or going to something else, and then a new driver comes in and doesn't realize that the rates were cut, and they're like, "Wow, I'm making $200 a day."
Correct.
And then realization is that, like, for the week you can work. In the past, you'd work 20 hours, you'd make $1,000.
Correct.
Now you got to work 30 hours to make the same amount of money. So the thing is that people are not understanding is that, yes, the money is great if you put in the hours. And that's what we all have understood now. If you're the veteran driver, I'm doing 3 years now part-time.
Okay.
But when I do a Sunday, if I want to make $300 on a Sunday,
okay,
I have to put in 12 hours. I have to put in 12 hours. There's no way
so
you can drive and make on the next vehicle. I have a Kia Optima, so I'm
okay.
in an X economy class. So, if in the past, about 3 years ago, if I wanted to make $300, I'd work maybe 7-8 hours.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's
So you basically, so where you started off with, where you were hitting the $300 mark on about 7 hours, today you find yourself having to do 12 hours for the same amount of money, which basically is robbing an extra 5 additional hours every Sunday, correct?
That's it. That's what it boils down to. Yes, the money's still there. You still have to put in the hours, though. So eventually, in a year, 2 years from now, if you want $300, you're going to have to go over the hour limit, or you're basically going to be taking a pay cut. Maybe you'll make $250 in 12 hours. So that's just the way that it's going right now. That's the way
correct.
I'm seeing it. So,
and Ed, how many miles have you put on that Optima?
So I bought the Optima with 38,000 miles exactly 3 years ago in July.
What did you pay for it at the time?
$14,000.
Did you finance it, or how did you structure the deal?
I financed it. I still owe money on it, and currently I'm sitting at 170,000 miles. So
how much do you think? How many miles do you think you can still get out of the Optima?
Well, we had an engine problem, so I have a brand new engine in it that went in about 35,000 miles ago. It's the original transmission, so I think it's pretty strong. I'm going to hold on to it just because I still owe money on it. But
okay,
I'm going to run it into the ground. And I did have, literally, I had that. When you talk about, and I've been watching you for a while. When you talk about how you upgraded, you started in X and you went to XL and then you went to Premium, and everyone has those thoughts like, wow, I want to get those better rides.
Correct.
You just cannot trust this company,
right?
Because they're just going to continue to cut rates.
Yeah.
So now again, with the Pope in Chicago, he got a better vehicle, right? I just saw he's got a Infinity QX60. You can get all the rides, right? You get the XLs. And then you get an email a week later saying that Lyft is cutting the XL rides in Chicago.
Right.
The rates are going down. And it's like, how can you buy another vehicle? And I've had
how can you go out there and you very, very, very good point made here.
Let me upgrade my car, and then you just never know when that email is going to come and say, gotcha, your rates have been cut in Chicago. Right.
So one of the, that is probably the most valid point, that there's no consistency, there's no reliable pattern here. You bought this car 3 years ago, right? You have another 1 or 2 years of payments?
Roughly 2 years, yes.
Okay, and if you had to just take a rough guess, what do you still owe on the car?
Probably 6, maybe.
6,000.
5,000, yeah.
Okay. So, the earnings over those 3 years, you have to put that into a perspective with your earnings versus what you've paid for this car each month. And then once this car has run its full lifetime, you've paid it off. Let's say with that new engine, you're getting, I don't know, high 200,000s. You got to really do the math here. But the problem is you're not even thinking of upgrading into a different category purely because they're just changing the game on you week by week, right? So
and part of it's my fault as well. I went 3 years without making any extra payments onto the car, so I should have been a little bit smarter and putting an extra $50 towards it, knowing that I'm literally slowly or fastly killing my car.
Good to acknowledge that.
The right shirt will definitely kill your car, guys, if everyone's listening.
Right.
This right shirt, if you're going to finance the car for 5 years, make an extra $50 to your payment, because you're not going to last 5 years making those payments.
Correct.
It's probably going to last maybe 4, and you're putting 30 to 50,000 miles each year in the car.
Right. Now let's
alone is just unbelievable.
Let's just go for a brief second back to Gio, right? Who's done 16,000 trips and who's just got this new car. I'm pretty accurate in saying that, right?
Don't get me wrong. I like his content as well.
Okay.
What I don't like about him, and I call him a dope, is he likes to attack people.
Yeah.
He likes to. He's a bully, and he likes to call people bums. And I don't particularly sit at the O'Hare airport lot, right? But he literally calls his own following, his own subscribers, bums. And
well, that's if that's the, but that's if you like the psychology. Right, but I mean, in the human psychology, if you like that abuse, or you put up with the abuse, or you bow before the master, that's just how some people operate, right? And you have to look into their dynamics, and you have to look into his dynamics, his past, their past. There's a weird dynamic going on, there's a weird relationship going on that level, right? And not necessarily just talking about him and his followers. I'm just talking in general with those type of human types, right? Because we all fit into specific categories. We've all gone through specific things. But I want to briefly go back. If he is truly the master in the Chicago game, right? I'm just saying it. Let's just say he's the master in the Chicago game. The one thing is, what I don't understand is, why don't the people that maybe have the money and to put aside a little bit here and there, right? Why don't they go out and make the phone calls and explore the private side? So, for example, in California, it would be called the TCP license. In some other states, it's called TNC. Your chauffeur license, your private charter license, right?
Oh, he'll have an answer to this. So he'll have his best answer ever.
Okay, give me 30 seconds, and then I'll let you shoot. Right, when you know that you can set the money aside for this, and you have this type of car, and you start changing your percentages, like right now I'm on a 70% private, 30 to 40% Uber and Lyft trips, and I'm adjusting constantly. I'm adjusting because I have to adjust to their schemes, to their ways, to their cuts. I have to adjust, right? So I'm asking you right now, why would a gentleman like that not focus and put some emphasis on private trips where you put 100% of the monies into your pocket? Go ahead.
Well, I would have to get personal then.
Sure.
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I'd hate to call him out and ask about his lifestyle.
I respect that.
Where he lives and who he lives with.
Okay.
And who he has to take care of. And where his money's going, and I don't want to get personal.
No. I respect that, and we don't have to. We're not here to talk about that. So that's.
But I think he's hindered. I think that.
Okay. Right.
He's constantly in the hole. And a lot of us are. A lot of drivers are in the hole. We're killing our cars.
Right.
We're putting ourselves in debt. We're putting ourselves in debt for a couple $100.
But that's a very real statement. Like if you say I'm in a hole and I feel like I got to dig myself out of that hole, and I'm not, I'm taking 3 steps forward, 4 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps.
Let me go out and buy a $30,000 vehicle to put myself in more debt. It just doesn't make sense.
It's a vicious circle. It's a vicious circle. Yeah. I hear you loud and clear.
So I did call him out a couple of times. I said, you need to stop romanticizing rideshare. It's a great rideshare. It's a great side gig. It's definitely, that's what I do. I do it side. I do it when I want, when I can. I don't do it full time. And when he romanticizes it, says how great it is, it's like, you're putting yourself in more and more debt. And, there is definitely a lot of full-time people that are successful like yourself and upgrading and doing your thing, but romanticizing and then calling everyone a bum, and it's just a little distasteful. But
right, But I hear you. I don't want to look. The thing is, I'd rather have Gio on my side, like working with him. Sure. I don't have to be best friends, but at the end of the day, I look at the power that he exercises in a market. I look at the power I exercise in a market, and others, like I see Dustin's in the house. Welcome, who has a phenomenal channel. And at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, I'd like to be able to pick up the phone or make an email and say, listen, how do you feel about this? Or do you think we can do something about this, right? So we need numbers, and Gio has his numbers. There's no doubt about it. And again, I'm going to reiterate, the guy brings real screenshots and real good info to the market, right? We're not going to highlight or get involved in personal matters. I don't think that's part of a live feed, but I appreciate you briefly going there. But the thing is, like, what can we collectively do to steer the ship forward where we are protected, where we are taken care of? And that to me we need to rally around that topic, right? And the other one being safety. I don't think that there's enough being done on safety for drivers and safety for riders. I think that Uber and Lyft have to really dig into their pockets and spend money on the safety issue. Background checks if they can do background, how do you feel about it? If I say background checks for drivers, surely they should do background checks on riders, right?
Sure, absolutely.
Exactly.
And to your point as well about when you'd like to work together with Geo.
I would like to, yes.
That would be great. All you YouTubers, basically almost all of you guys are on the same page except for that guy. For some reason, he's against any organization, which is, it's fine if you're against something, but don't talk bad. Like, we're trying to make it better for you.
Correct.
Geo?
We're out there fighting for you.
When we take one step backwards,
yes,
he likes to take shots and say, "Oh, didn't work, did it? Didn't work, did it?"
Yeah. Well, I saw his video yesterday on my two.
Something does work. It's crickets. It's crickets. But they'll never say, "Hey, thanks, drivers, for trying to." Basically, the May 8th protest that everyone around the country was, that got a lot of attention.
Yeah.
There's no thank yous out there for that. What happened was there were so many passengers getting in my car going, "Hey, you want stricken leave?" It's like, hey, everyone is talking about it. That's what we're doing. We're getting some traction. We need everybody on the same page. And my advice to anyone out there, including you, if you want, if you could start making videos of your city, or you start your channel, the best thing you can do. I'm not interested. But
okay. I mean, it may not be your thing. I understand, right? It's not everybody's thing. But let's say you want to give it a shot. There's a lot of shy people and say, "Well, I can't do this." If you can get over that hurdle and actually do it, I want to run a real life scenario with you, right? By you, sorry. So keeping it positive, keeping it real, building people up, encouraging people, start putting out that content. Guess what happens? It does a full circle. So as I'm picking up private clients here and there, Calabasas, Hidden Hills, and one of my clients said, "Hey, you know what? I think we saw you on YouTube, right? Because one of the others says, oh, he has a channel on YouTube." I like what you have to say there. You keep it positive, you keep it real. Now I'm in with a private client talking about a whole different thing that leads to completely other things, right? Because he perceives me as being, someone there for the people, by the people, optimistic, et cetera, right? And it has truly, I'm not going to go into details, but it has led to greater things. So I think as you go around and maybe put people down because you think you're superior, you think they're the king, you think they're the peasants, maybe that formula works for you, but in the long run, is it going to bring you any benefit? Personal benefit, financial benefit? I don't know. I'll question it all day long. Hey, buddy, I appreciate your call. I got to jump to the next one and back into the house. Ed, awesome touching base with you, my friend.
All right, Mr. Professor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Appreciate it. Great conversation and a great contribution because, the one thing that stuck out is someone like him who bought this Optima, right, and who's been doing it for 3 years and talking about real numbers, real changes, right, had to do 7 hours, now has to do 12 hours on a Sunday, 5 hours more to make up that same money. Like these are real stories. These are real stories that these people need to hear at Uber and Lyft, right? But what really stuck out is if there's a life cycle on a driver, whether you're in there a 2 to 6 month cycle and you back out and you're on to the next thing, okay, say 2 to 6 months, you'll have people like Ed that'll try, or like Geo, or like me, that'll make it work for years, right? And some, according to him, will be in a hole and try and dig themselves out of a hole, and some others will truly work smart, not hard, and figure out a way to make real money at this game, right? You've got to look at all the avenues. I can tell you that one of the guys who understands all the avenues is definitely Dustin. The amount of money he is making on YouTube right now is insane, right? The amount of live feeds, the amount of content, the guy's making big money on YouTube. So he's figured out a great angle. He is making big money on referrals. He is still making money on driving because he drives, right? So people respect you if you're still driving, you're bringing numbers, right? But you got to figure out what works best for you. The one thing that stood out here is talking real numbers on a Kia Optima, real price, real money owed, real miles, right? Et cetera, et cetera. And if you have all of those numbers, you got to do the math, right? You got to do the math. What does help, I can tell you right now, referrals help a lot. You know, like if I'm referring in my market, I get paid for it. Or other markets, I share my earnings. I share my referral money with the people that sign up under my code. It works for me, right? So, you know, you can call me the referral professor all day long if you want to, Gio, but the bottom line is I'm making money, and I found a way to monetize my YouTube, monetize my referrals, monetize my 40 cars that I lease out. I'm making money, right? And I'm having fun, and I'm meeting people, and we're joking around, and we're getting serious, right? So it works for me. You got to make it work for you, right? And I hear Ed loud and clear, right? And I'll be doing more of these phone-ins. We had a phone-in from Hawaii. We had a phone-in from Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, and always ready. So a guy says here, Russia, there are no bad nations, there are only bad people. I like that. I like that. Very true statement. There are no bad nations, there are only, you know, there will always be a couple of sour apples in every country that will try and think they're special or ruin it for others or try and rule others. So I agree. I've been in Russia many a times. When I was in Germany studying, part of my paying my studies back was through the building company that I did the study, 100,000 Russians. When the wall went down, they were relocated by the German government. They were relocated back to Russia, and the German company said, we will subsidize and pay for the housing. I was working for one of the companies that build the housing, right? So I've been there a lot, and I understand how wonderful people they are. It's usually the politicians, the people that are making the money, the people that are oppressing the people. I can tell you the same story in Africa and South Africa. It's the same formula all around the world, even here in the United States, right? So great statement by this gentleman that says about Russia, there are no bad nations, there are only bad people. Superbly put, my friend. Kyle Lindgren, what website address? Let's share that right there. Paul Figueroa. Let's see, sorry, went slightly dark there. I apologize. Eduardo Acosta, I hope you didn't take my comment personal about drivers being losers. No, we're not, you know, we're not taking, you're not like attacking each driver here. You know, this is this is an opportunity for you to talk, to express yourself, right? Victor, I appreciate you just registering as a $10 member. That will help greatly. Thank you. Dustin, is he still in the house? Peter Kuzda, Kyle, keep watching. He will give you his code. Who will give you his code? Who will give you his code, Peter? Let's see. Ed, thank you for the call in again. Mike Lee, is Lyft going to start paying in route miles? Interesting. Rideshare confessions. Okay, here, DC took out a fake riders trying to scam you. They are calling you to get you to change your express pay for $25 gift card. Yeah, don't fall for these stupid things when people random call you or, you know, want your phone number or say they have an issue with the app, they need your phone number. They will find scam artist will find every loophole to try and get in your system to get to your bank details. Don't fall for the phishing scams. Don't fall always. If you get an email and it says there Microsoft or Apple, hit reply and see the true.com. It'll never be to Microsoft.com. It'll always be a changed URL. The amount of bullshitters and scam artists faking people, especially money from the elderly, is sickening, right? Because there's sadly still a lot of gullible people out there that fall for these tricks. There will always be cheaters cheating the system. There will always be fakers. There will always be con artists. There will always be robbers. And then there will always still be the people that will fall for these cheap scams or phishing. Please be careful, folks, right? Post something on Craigslist and see how many fakies approach you, right? Never get involved with any Western Union. Hey, I'll send you a check and I'll book it in advance. I'll pay 3 months up front if you do this. Forget about it, right? There are If you want to read up about the scams, go and make yourself knowledgeable. There are tax scams out there. There are IRS scams out there. There are purchasing scams out there. There are Uber and Lyft scams out there. You've got to be streetwise. You've got to be on top of it, and you cannot fall for it. Peter, I'm calling you out. Who are you talking about? Own up. You've gone very silent. Who's he? Don't be shy. Speak in names. We don't know he, she. Not taking that call right now, whoever that is. I want to finish up this thing here. Gig Warrior Jim in the house. He's on board. I was a store manager with CVS Pharmacy. I left that job over a year ago. I was doing 15 to 20 rides a day to make the money. Now do about 5 to 7 rides, but have mixed other apps and make more now. See? You could truly call yourself a gig worker. Just listen what Jim said. Figured out a formula that works for him. Started here, started making adjustments, adding companies, looking at his earning patterns, right? Okay, I'm making more here in that shift. I'm making more with this company on Saturdays. I'm doing these 2-3 gigs. He's a gig worker. Great name, Gig Worker Jim. And then has figured out and is making more than he has before. When he started going backwards, he started looking and figuring out and trying out things to come up with a better formula. That to me is working smart, not hard. That is taking the eagle approach. When you get up, you get some altitude, you're looking down, you're looking at all the moving particles, all the moving earnings, and you say to yourself, what is the best way to fly here? The best route to fly. He's got it down. Thank you for sharing. So RM Zaya says, go to your phone service providers and tell them that only you in the store with your ID can make changes to your account in person. I like that. That's cool. Good suggestion. Listen to that. That's valuable input right there. Mike Lee says, Professor, I got a message in Lyft app today. Lyft going to start paying in-route miles starting June the 27th. Curious if any riders got the same thing. If you did get the same thing, share with us. And the main thing is, Mike, take some screenshots of regular trips right now, whether it's a 10, 20-mile trip, a 5-mile trip, so we can compare what happens after the 27th. I want to really compare those numbers after the 27th to this weekend's numbers and send them on over, right? So we can compare. Paul Figueroa, Torsten, I asked Gio about a month ago specifically about doing private rides with a TCP license, and he told me the cost was too high in the Chicago market. Okay, now, Paul, let's look at that statement. Firstly, what does it cost you to get that license in the Chicago market? Can anybody share with me, hey, give me some real numbers here, what that would cost you, right? I cannot see that costing more than $1,000 or $1,500. I could be wrong, right? And I'm going by my numbers, and California numbers are extremely, extremely high. They always say that the DMV numbers and the pricing in California is one of the highest in the country. So what are the Chicago numbers? And then once we know those Chicago numbers, let's find a way to work with it. Let's find a way, to put a little bit of money aside on each trip so we can get that. I can tell you right now that my ratio, whether it's 60% private trips or 70% private trips and 40% attributed to Lyft and Uber, SUV and Lux, is working out beautifully for me, right? Beautifully. And on the private side, I can tell you there's nothing more powerful than word of mouth. You think you get your first client and that's it? No. That client likes you and tells 3 others. Those clients like you and they tell 3 others. The next thing you know, you have 10 clients, right? Just 2 weeks ago, I picked up 2 more NBA player accounts, right? And I've probably, in the last 2 weeks, those 2 families, can't mention their names, probably given about 7 or 8 trips, a couple of airport trips, the other night taking them all throughout Hollywood, this bar, that bar, this restaurant, and got paid a lot of money, right? And that's through referral, word of mouth. So the beginning hurts. The beginning is painful, is to get that money together for that Chicago license, Maybe we pool the money. Maybe we help Geo. Why not? I'm here, folks. I'm here to find solutions, not to make enemies. I have one or two semi-haters in the game or copiers. I've given them a little bit of energy. I won't give them more. But I think everybody's just trying to do their hustle, man. Everybody's just trying to find a way to make money, right? And hey, whatever it takes. Let's see. How does this guy text me? I'm just going to say text me. This guy's calling me again and again and again and again. I'm not taking more phone calls. I'll take on the next live feed, right? What are we on? Almost 12. I've got to get rocking and rolling. Beth from Chicago. If Geo does well, he will talk it up. That's okay. Guys, we're not here to bash Geo, right? I like the screenshots and the numbers and the real street knowledge he brings from Chicago. I put some of the hatred aside. I look at the things at screenshots and how Chicago drivers can learn from those numbers and what they can learn from that. Let's forget about these interpersonal relationships or he said, she said, or let's put that aside, right? This is not about politics. This is about money, right? This is about the business. This is about the way Uber and Lyft are treating us. This is not about these interrelationships between YouTube influencers. Hopefully we're all on one page. I can tell you with 98, 99% of the people, I'm on the same page. I call them. I get text messages and calls from Dustin. I'll text him back. From Kevin, I'll text him back. From Paula, from Dave, right? I would say we're on the same page fighting the same cause for the drivers, right? Because we're all in this boat together. We're not going to allow this boat to sink. No matter how many holes they're trying to shoot into the hull of the boat or into the rubber, we're going to patch it, fix it, and come out better. Period. Janice Stewart, thank you. Appreciate you. Those are cool eyes, cool logo, very catchy. I had to like, what? Like that logo, Janice. Thank you for the contribution. So, no, okay, so the guy that was trying to call me from the 301 number, please be so kind and call me back because I think you got a good point here. Sorry, I do want to fit this in quickly. We'll see how would you call me back, 301? .301 in the house. You just called me twice. Call me again. I have a feeling it's going to ring in the next 30 seconds. You did have a good question, which we can throw out to the room. 301 in the house. You called me twice. Call me. I'll take that call quickly. I said just 2 calls, but I want to slot you in. Silence. It's not ringing. Eduardo Acosta says, don't drive late nights, Janice. What do you call late night? After 12, after 11? What do you guys call late night? I would say 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock is the cutoff point because after 12, those extra 2 or 3 tequilas of vodkas just send these people over the edge, man. That's the crowd you don't want, right? That trouble crowd. But people are leaving a restaurant early or a club early at 11, maybe still 12, okay. But you get that 1 or 2 o'clock crowd, boy, oh boy. New York City, Abbas in the house. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Rideshare 411 in the house. Happy Friday to everyone. Happy weekend to everyone. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before us. We can work. We can spend time with our families. We can go on a hike. We can go to a restaurant. We can take our girlfriend out. We can take our boyfriend out. We can do something with our kids. The weekend is here, my friends, for us. Most of the kids are on holidays. My kids are on holiday, and they want to be entertained. Daddy, it's Friday or Saturday. We know it's your weekend off. Entertain us. Okay, folks. Great 1 hour, 30 30-minute session, 90-minute. Here we go. Maryland came through for us. Whoop, whoop. I was not ignoring you.
Oh, no worries, Thorson.
How are you, buddy?
Maryland.
Good. How's it going? You had a good question there. Do you mind putting it out there to the room?
Oh, right. Well, the question is, I speak to a lot of passengers about their opinion on what they're charged.
Okay.
And I noticed that when I, use Uber as a passenger from time to time, how inexpensive it is next to a taxi cab driver.
Correct.
And everybody knows that the service from an Uber to a taxi is like first class to coach.
Day and night. Correct. 100% correct.
And yet you're paying such a small fee to take a clean car with a nice driver who's being rated and, takes their trip professionally. And yet you're paying such a low cost. And I've yet to speak to a passenger that would stop using rideshare if the prices were increased. Fantastic argument. And that type of same question I pose as he does to the passenger, to the rider. And you basically laid it out for us, right? How they are benefiting from rideshare versus, and I don't really want to put the taxis down, but you're getting a superior service, a clean car, all of this. And then the big question, would you be willing to pay a little bit more for that extra benefit? And your argument, the way you're saying, is that yes, they would, right? Am I correct? Absolutely. I mean, I ask passengers. I say, because you can kind of tell how much a passenger is being charged for a ride.
Yeah.
And oftentimes you have passengers who are using Uber out of sheer convenience, that may have driven their own personal vehicle in the past, or they may have had a friend or family member or a colleague pick them up to give them a ride.
Right.
But during the day, bulk of the rides are people going to and from airports, people going to pick up their car from the mechanic shop, people going to pick up their kids from school, and people going to and from work.
Yes.
And I don't see those people stopping rideshare for a small increase.
I agree. And let's go years and years and years back. Maybe in the first year when these companies started, right? What they obviously did is they set the bar so low, the fares so low, made it so attractive from anyone that was schooled in the taxi trips to come over and say, wow, rideshare is cheap, it's convenient, it's better. And boy, did the apps downloaded one after the other. And, people were truly, as passengers in the beginning, attracted to the price. Then there was a very, very minimal, slow uphill increase of passenger rates, as you say. And can they put up with another fairly decent increase? My caller says yes. I 100% agree with him. If you had to pinpoint a percentage, I've always said, and hear me out for 1 second, I've always said do this in 2 increments over 6 months to get a total increase of, I said, 25%, right? If you had a pinpoint, or if you were to structure this or give Dara or John Zimmer or Logan Green any advice on how to structure this increase to passengers, to make it palatable, to make it understandable, to make it not painful to these passengers, drivers, how would you do this? I've just told you how I would approach it. I would do it in 2 steps over 6 months, at least 25%, and maybe do, a 15, another 10, or a 15 and a 15 over 6 months. How would you structure it?
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, listen, if a $10 ride goes up to $12.50,
correct?
Or if it goes over $10 ride, the bottom line is, on top of that, I agree with you. 6-month period. I've heard you say that before, and I think that's a very good way of doing it. If you don't want to shock,
them. Exactly. I agree with you.
It's like a retailer raising the pricing on a bottle of Coca-Cola.
Correct.
You can't raise the price from $1 to $1.50.
Exactly.
In one time. But my main point is that it just seems that the biggest problem is that they're charging the passengers so little that there's and Uber wants to keep such a large amount of the profit that the bottom line is that the passengers should be paying a little bit more. And on top of that, the minimum charge for passengers is kind of absurd because you can have somebody pick you up in a clean car. They're going to pick you up in 5 minutes with a smile. And they're going to give you a nice ride. You can plug in your phone. You can listen to your music. You can add stops, yada, yada, yada. And I think the minimum fare in most cities, or at least where I live, is, I think, $7. And I just think it's amazing that somebody can pay only $7 to be picked up from point A to point B that quickly, that efficiently, whereas they would never be able to receive that type of service from a taxi cab. And I'm not trying to bash taxi cabs. I respect them. They're most of them are good people. They're trying to support their families.
Correct.
And I'm not bashing the taxi cab driver, but I have taken many Uber trips as a passenger, and I've taken many Uber trips, many taxi cab trips as a passenger, and I can definitely tell you that the service is far superior. And there's a reason why when you pull up as a Uber driver to the metro, for example, you will see 10 to 15 taxi cabs sitting in line waiting for a passenger. And then as you drive past to pick up your passenger, you will see 10 to 15 people staying there waiting for their Uber driver. Yes. And the bottom line is not only are they getting better service, but they're paying so much less, and it doesn't add up to me.
Well, you nailed it. I mean, I don't think you could have said it better. I mean, I'm getting chills because this is real stuff, right? This is a real argument right here, right? When you started naming all the benefits, right, for that Trump change that they're paying, and if our listeners are following you, and like for example, Sonu Lumba says people will pay. I 100% agree with my caller that people will pay. Have I asked the same questions as my caller has? 100%. Would you be willing to pay more? The answer was yes. 90% of the time, the answer was yes. Right. So what I ask you, Uber and Lyft, I hope you're listening to this segment, which starts at about 1 hour 32 to 1 hour 37, 138 counting, right? Where I've had this caller on the line. Just as the CEO, as the manager, as middle management, as executive, listen into this. This is real stuff. Anybody that has taken a taxi trip and has taken a rideshare trip and has compared the pros and cons will tell you today, I will pay more for that trip. So let's start there. I mean, that takes away a lot of the pressure on the drivers. But because to always pick up the money from our side to pay for the big legal bills, to pay for this, to pay for that, it's squeezing them into the corner. You truly can go and collect on the passenger side, and it will not be painful to them. And you use the example of the exactly. So man, that's a great call. And my part, I wanted to cut it down to 2 calls. I'm glad I took this 3rd call, and I appreciate your contribution. Well said.
I speak to a lot of business people that use Uber and Lyft to get to and from the airport.
Yes.
And they tell me that before rideshare, that they had to call ahead of time and hope and pray that the taxi service shows up.
Yep.
That half the time they wouldn't get picked up, that they would miss their flights. How convenient this is, how wonderful this is, what a pleasure it is to have this rideshare capability. The service is so convenient. You could be walking down the street and it starts raining outside.
Yep.
You pull out your phone.
That's it.
Someone's there to pick you up in 30 seconds or 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You have drivers that have, seats for children that, are willing to go through the drive-thru for you at McDonald's.
Yeah.
That are willing to go other than not the Call of Duty to, drivers that drive in the middle of the night that pick people up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when you don't even see a cab out on the street.
Correct.
There's so many things that rideshare does for people that cause such a significant convenience in people's lives.
Right.
That there's no way that a 25% increase or 15% increase or whatever type of increase you need to get this stupid 60 cents a mile up so that people can actually profit and make a nice living with what they're trying to do out there and help people. There's no way that it would hurt Uber or Lyft in any way whatsoever.
I truly, truly hope they're listening in, and it would not hurt any passenger. I mean, the bottom line is what Uber and Lyft have got right. They do have a quality service where people instantly pick you up. You're getting the best service. The best service is, of course, provided by the drivers, their car, their office, right? And why should a passenger not pay a marginal increase for this? So your contribution, amazing. Please email me or text me afterwards if there's any way I can help or shed more.
I got a lot more to say than that, so
cool.
Pleasure talking to you.
Likewise, buddy. I could have this conversation all day long, my friend. I just, I do have a 12 and a 15-year-old that text you like crazy. They have their little demands, so right now I have to switch over into father-dad mode.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. You too, buddy. Have a great one. Wow, what a call. What a call, what a contribution. He just literally laid it out. Could not have been more crystal clear, looking into a crystal ball, showing you exactly what's inside there, showing you exactly why, making argument for argument why the passenger can easily pay more for what they're getting. That was amazing. See, so it pays taking these calls. Disappointment 420, you want to share a video. Is that a legit video? What is that all about? If you could shed a little bit of light, give me an honest assessment on that link, I might be able to go ahead and just show it. But, tell us what it's about. Yeah, that Tito, that call was awesome. And, that was a really, really hot contribution we got there from, I think it was Maryland. Thank you. Very well laid out. If any CEO of any rideshare company was listening in, let's say they were listening into that conversation, they sold. I'm sold. I'm like, you know what? Go ahead, increase my rates. Go ahead. I get it. You've sold me. So, I mean, hey, now it's time for them to take action, right? Update, please, Jose Rivera. Whoa, you missed a lot, buddy. How do you update 1 hour and 45 minutes? We've had several callers, Jose. We have spoken about these ultra long trips being too high risk because very often Uber and Lyft will switch on you and not pay out. I would say just when it goes live, which it is right now, and it goes into YouTube and it populates, just go back to the beginning and go over the messages, go over the phone calls. The phone calls today were quality, all of them. Our Hawaii call, our Chicago, Illinois call, our Maryland call, quality calls. Tampa, Florida in the house, Tito. You were there from right in the beginning. Journey with Jordan, how many stream hours do you have? Not as many as Dustin. I always said, not going to stream that much, but I'm enjoying it. You know why I'm enjoying it? Because I'm getting really good feedback here that I truly believe helps, right? The one thing that we allow is the few people that do long live streams is that they allow the messages to show up, which people and newcomers into that video can see. Let's just see how this conversation went. Let's just see how the people are reporting, right? When you look at an Uber or Lyft live stream, they will cut the comments off. Why? I ask you, why? Are you too afraid to allow a live stream and your people, your drivers, to participate in your own video? Why do they silence the people? Oh my gosh, you get me going. If you have not created a profile on streetteams.com, you can even go to goatrideshare.com or streetteams.com. Just register for free, participate, right? So when we make announcements, when we send out flyers, when we announce strikes, or when the organizations tell you what's going on street level, you can form a team and take action. Streetteams.com, right? Lorenzo Davis, what's up? East Hollywood in the house. East Hollywood in the house. Guys, it's Friday. It's time to play. It's time to have fun. It's time to make money. Are we ready for the Friday? Yes, I am. I'm ready. I'm ready. Ready, steady, go. Let the weekend begin. Hours away. Confessions, 1,000 for me. Whoop, whoop. Let's go, guys. Let's do this. I like it. Buddy Chang, let's do this. Or as Uber would say, just do it. My t-shirt today doesn't mean die, go and die. It's diesel. The S and the L is hidden. For successful living. If you know the slogan of diesel, it's for successful living. I have two creatures on there. I have us, the dinosaur on top. I have the scared dinosaur, Uber and Lyft, at the bottom. We're ready to pounce. We're ready for action. I like that t-shirt. It's like this, there's some dynamic playing out here, my friends. Look at that. Us on the top, them on the bottom. We got them where we need them. T-Rex is coming for you, lizard man. There we go. Knowledge is power. 100% correct. Kenneth Morrison in the house. Frank Barrere, what's up? From LA, Lower Alabama. Lucy, yes, I like it. Like it. Passengers, tip your drivers good. They deserve it. April M. Every passenger worldwide, US, international, read what April M tells you. Passengers, tip your drivers good. Tip your drivers well. They deserve it. Looks like it, my friend. Looks like big strikes coming on the 4th of July. That's the rumors that I'm hearing floating around. I'm sure they're going to announce things a little before then. I mean, we've still got a ways to go. We're on, June the 21st. We're maybe 2 weeks away. Looks like a lot of stuff is going down on July the 4th. Victor's giving you a shout out, LA. Tito, awesome stream. Now I need to go make some money. God bless. Have a good weekend. I wish you the same, right? And if I could leave with 50 thumbs up, take a quick pick, mirror it back to you, set the frequency for the weekend, I'm a happy guy. And my caller from Maryland said, thanks for taking my call. Thank you for calling in and sharing such amazing input. We appreciate you. That was a great call. All three were great. Tito Lugo in the house. He gave me 3, 6, 9. I got 11. 11. I need 39 more. Let's go. 40. Janice. Oh, yeah, we go. Zayas is on fire. Zayas is on fire. Let's get that 50, guys. I need a photo. We're going to set the frequency for the weekend. We are probably in and around the halfway mark, 25. We need about another 25. We've got 26. Anybody for 27? 27. Anybody offer 28? Anybody offer 28? Give me a 28. Bidder over there. Yeah, we got 28. We got 28. We got 29. We got 29. We got 33. We got 33. Any bidders? We got a 33. We're going up to 50. 50. Whoa, we got 44. We got 44. We need 6 more. We got 6 more. We got it, baby. We got it. And the highest bidder goes to the house. That is the house. Love you all. Have an amazing Friday, amazing Saturday, amazing Sunday. Please drive safe. Please spend quality time with your family or loved one. Please give them a hug. Please tell them how special they are, how much you love them, and tell them why you're out there on the street working for them, putting in the hours. God bless, my friends.